Of Tifton, Georgia's founding father,
Okay.
which is Henry Harding Tift. Tifton is named after him.
Cool.
His wife here is Bessie Willingham Tift. Now this lady grew up in Albany, Georgia, but Henry himself grew up in Mystic, Connecticut, and come to South Georgia after the Civil War.
Okay.
But what he come down here for, you know, he was looking for land that was growing these very old trees, and he wanted to buy lots of land, in which he bought several thousand acres of land in this area here with those trees. He then sets up a sawmill, starts cutting those trees down into lumber that he could sell to other people.
Okay.
So when you see this house, you know Henry Tift made lots of money in South Georgia, don't you?
Yeah.
Well, the house was built in 1887. It was in downtown Tifton, and it was moved out here on this site in the early 1980s. The wallpaper throughout the house, it is silk wallpaper.
Okay.
It is not the original, but it's very near what the original did look like. This wood comes from the sycamore trees, and you know, when they lived here, they heated the house with fireplaces. There's a fireplace in almost every room throughout this house. And they did have 3 boys that grew up in this house also.
Okay.
The floors throughout the house, they are pine wood.
Okay.
And also the stained glass you will see throughout the house. Some of it is original, but we know as old as this house is that some of it's been broken and had to be replaced.
Okay.
This is the foyer here. We'll come into the parlor in here. The painting over the fireplace, Bessie Tift did this painting here. This lady was an artist, no doubt about it.
Cool.
She also played the harpsichord, so she was good at art and she was good at music also.
All right. Any songs that I might know that she made?
I don't know. You know, so I don't know. She played the harpsichord, but I don't know. You know, I don't know what kind. I guess the book you see there, I guess is some of the type of music that she played. You know, so.
Okay.
And the other 3 paintings in here, they were done by Miss Tift's art teacher, and of course she was good too. So. But this is also the time period, you know, no electricity. The oil-burning lamps on the mantle, that was their light for a few years till they could get electricity.
Okay.
And as nice as this house is, it did not have an indoor toilet. They had to use the outhouses just like everybody else did here in South Georgia. They did not get around that, not by any means. And you know, when the weather's extremely hot like it is now, when they lived here, the only way they could cool the house would be to open up these doors and windows and hope we got a cool breeze coming through. But you can go into the dining room in here. This is where the family ate all their meals. But let me tell you about the pretty wood though here. This wood in here, this comes from the poplar tree. But poplar's a very light colored wood, and they wanted a dark wood in here, so they just stained it to give it that mahogany look. So it turned out real pretty. But that gadget on the mantle, that is a stereoscope. It dates back to the 1800s. You can look through the lens at that picture that's in there, and you will be looking at a 3D picture, which tells us 3D has been around a lot longer than we think it has. And if you want to look through it, you can go over there and pick it up and look through it and see what you think about it.
You mean this book?
No, the thing that's on the mantle.
Oh, okay.
That metal gadget right there, it's got the picture in it. Yeah, that thing there.
Oh, wow.
But look through the, this thing over here on the other side. It's got that right there. Look at it, you see. Just look at it.
It's pretty cool.
Yes, it is. That's what all the school kids say. That if the school group is smaller, you know, let them all look through it. And that's what they call it. It's so cool, you know.
I'm guessing that's where the the modern people got their ideas from right there.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, yeah, when some of my older children were younger, they had what they call the Viewmasters that works on this same order, but theirs, to change the pictures, it just had a disc in it, and you did a little click, and the picture would change.
Right.
Whereas this one here, you have to change the pictures by hand. You know, so. But yeah, I tell the school kids, I said, this is the idea where your video games come from.
Maybe.
But we'll go into the dining room, and this is where the family ate all their meals, is right in here, in this room in here.
Okay. Nice dining area.
Yeah, this is the dining room. This is the wood here this house is really noted for. This wood here is called curly pine.
Okay.
It comes from those very old long leaf pine trees.
Are they still around today, those type of trees?
No. Well, they're planting them, trying to get a comeback on them. But see, the trees we're talking about, these boards was trees that could have been 300, 400, or 500-year-old trees. And today, those if you have longleaf pine trees or any type tree, usually they're cut down today even before they get 50 years old. So you don't have those super old trees like there used to be here years ago. So, but Bessie Tift did every one of the paintings in the dining room. She never sold any of her paintings. They were all kept in the family. But she was really good whenever it come to art.
I see.
But for the amount of money that her husband Henry made, she did not need to sell anything. So
that's why they kept it here.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Any of their descendants still around here?
Oh yes, there's lots of those great-great-grands still here. Some of them have the last name of Tift, some of us have different last names, but they're all relatives of Henry and Bessie Tift. There sure are. There's still a good many of them right around here. So.
Okay.
But you see how nice the wood shows up in your mantle and around your fireplace over here. So
it is a nice finish.
That is some very pretty wood by all means. So lots of people want to know, well, where can I find this wood today? I said, you're not going to. So.
How often do they come in here and clean?
Not very often. When I started working here, I suggested they come in here and clean in the spring of the year and in the fall of the year. And they said they were going to, but what cleaning gets done is by people who work here. So.
All right. I'm about to say, because it's pretty clean here.
Well, I'll tell you, I've been trying to get, you have spiders that gets up on the ceiling, makes little spider webs. So that's what I've been doing for the past 2 days, is trying to get those down. And when it was start talking about spiders, I was thinking, about some big enough you could see, but these are little tiny things. So they just kind of like, I think we used to call them daddy long legs or something. They have lots of little different little leashes, no doubt about it. And as you know, they did have servants, so in here's your butler's pantry right here, which first of all is a very nice storage area. But these people did lots of entertaining, so the butler would hang out in here. As I said, he just kept the food rolling to the table. Okay. That is real sterling silver right here. It did belong to Bessie Tift. There's not one thing inside there, but that is one super heavy piece right there. So, and this is still more your curly pine wood in here, of course.
Okay. Anything through here?
Yeah, this is curly pine. Well, the dark wood is not curly pine, but I think all the doors throughout the house, I think they're made from poplar wood, like that was in the parlor.
No, so. I meant, was there anything in here, like a closet or anything?
Oh, no, it's just got shelves in it. It's called a pantry where they would store things. That's what it's got in it. Now, this is a big kitchen in here for anybody's time period. But you see over here at our big sink, we only have one faucet. This house from 1887 did have cold running water. Okay?
Wow.
So they had the water tower. That's the way they could have the cold running water. This is your butter churn here. That is the longest rolling pin I have ever seen. And this gadget right here, this is a crimper. Any type pasta you're dealing with, like noodles or dumplings, you want to give them a more dressed up look, just run them through the crimper like this, and they will come out with this look here. Makes them look a little bit more special. You know? So coffee grinder and your meat grinder would be right there. And we got a cute little high chair over here in the corner, of course. So, but that wood burning stove would have been the top of the line stove for that time period. You see that little door over there on your left that's open? Yep. That is the door they would put wood. See the little door on the stove?
Oh, right there. Okay.
That is the door they would put wood and start their fire would be right there to heat up the top of the stove so they could do their cooking. Now, this here is the oven. It does have a temperature gauge where they make all this biscuit and cornbread, of course, cookies, cakes, pies, meats, whatever. This is your reservoir where you heat your water so you'll have hot water to wash your dishes or take a bath or whatever.
Okay.
Warming oven up top where you put leftover food. And some people, they try to call it the 1800s microwave, of course. They got the waffle iron. That iron that's sitting up here on top of the stove, the way they heated it, they took hot coals from their fire and put inside that iron to heat it.
Oh, wow.
So, but I said that thing is heavy enough to get a wrinkle out of anything. So
I bet.
It certainly is by all means. And of course, you know, this is where the servants would eat their meals, would be right here. And of course, this piece of furniture here, you might have heard people call pieces of furniture pie safe, P-I-E-S-A-F-E, pie safe. It's where they put cakes and pies or whatever. This, however, is a reproduction. But they did use the copper screen wire in the doors that they would have used back from that time period. So some people says, well, if they knew to put screen wire on the high safe doors, why did they not put them on their doors and windows in the house? I said, well, that's one thing I don't have an answer for. I don't know. So, this right here, this gadget right here, this is your rug beater. You know, no electricity. So if they had rugs to clean them, they would take them and hang them outside, and someone would take their rug beater and you know, beat the dirt out. You know, beat it to get the dirt out of the roads. You know, that was their way of cleaning it. This is your 1800s telephone right here.
Okay.
I said, this is the time period. If you got secrets, you better not discuss them over the phone because somebody's probably listening. So.
Yeah, phones weren't secure back then, so.
That's right. I was talking about that the other day, and I had a family in here, and there was a little boy with him. My little boy's about like this. And I said that, and he said, yeah, and today the government's listening. This is your ice box, their version of a refrigerator. You see up here, each section on top will hold a 50-pound block of ice.
Okay.
Then you put all your food down here in the bottom part. And let's see if I open it, let you see. It's very roomy down here on the bottom part too. But you see top and bottom both, it's insulated with metal.
Yeah.
You know, both things.
So how long will it keep it cold?
If you had a 100-pound block of ice in here, in this area here where you can close off these doors, it would probably last 10 days, possibly to about last 2 weeks, because lots of times they would wrap it in something before they ever put it up here, so that would help some.
And the food down here will last 2 weeks as well?
Yeah, well, no, no cold. I mean, it would get it. It's more really what we would do. It's more like a cooler is what it would be. What we would experience today as a cooler. It would not freeze anything, but the food you had down here, it wouldn't last a super long time. Your milk and butter would probably be all right for, you know, for several days, But if you had meats down here, you better cook them up pretty fast because
they'll spoil.
Yeah, they would. They absolutely would. So, but that was somewhat better than not having anything at all, you know, to keep it cool.
Right.
So, and they could not make any ice in South Georgia because they did not have any electricity. Now we have a corner sink here, which I do like this corner sink very much. But as you go through the house, you will see there's no wasted space throughout this house whatsoever. And I really do like that corner sink. And this is still more your curly pine wood that you're seeing in here also. I want to show you a piece in here. This gadget right here, this is an 1800s world spare clock.
Wow.
You know, if it's working, that pendulum would be moving very slow back and two. And of course, as you know, that would be what would make the hands on the clock to move around.
Okay.
But it is still a very interesting piece to look at, even though it doesn't work. Now, all the bedrooms are upstairs, and there's 5 up there, which was unheard of in 1887 for a family in South Georgia to have a house with 5 bedrooms. That was just unheard of, you know.
Must have had a lot of kids.
Yeah. Well, this family only had 3 boys, and in later years they raised a granddaughter and one of Miss Tift's nieces. But some of these farmhouses you will see out here might not have had but 2 bedrooms, and they might have had 10 or 12 kids, you know. So that was the big difference in this house and some of the farmhouses you'll see out here, you know. So, but if you want to see the upstairs, you're welcome to go up there and look around. I think it's slightly warmer up there than it is down here because we've been having an AC problem up there. So, but you're welcome to go up there and look around if you want to see it.
All right. Appreciate it.
Come down. If you got any questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
You're quite welcome.
Alright, so this is one of the bedrooms. Must be one of the kids' rooms. Pretty nice in here. Bookshelf. This must be one of the grandkids' rooms. Nice view outside. Shelf. The 4 and 5. Pretty nice. And here's the last one. Hope y'all enjoyed the tour.